Good evening and welcome to Blue Dream Love and Wellness. We are here tonight to honor you with a class about Candida albicans. A lot of people do not realize they even have this imbalance within their body, and it can cause maladies of all kinds. And it's kind of silent because it is not recognized except by naturopathies and now by us practitioners and other things. But doctors don't recognize it as well as we would like it to. So Candida itself is a fungal yeast infection which thrives in warm-blooded animals. So this means your pets and you and anything else warm-blooded. So this fungus can actually cause thrush, and it can cause vaginal infections, as well as spread to any part of the body that is weakened. So if our autoimmune is not fully online, then we can be weakened. There's several things that can cause us to be weakened in life. In fact, it has imitated so many other diseases. And I just put a few here because if I put them all, we would be here for a couple hours. The list is over 1,000, and it's kind of frightening that it's not being recognized more readily. So eye infections, allergies, colitis, cystitis, gastritis, brain tumors, arthritis, insanity, multiple sclerosis, on and on and on. And I'm not trying to minimize any of the others. There's just so much which you will learn. And I know this can be kind of boring to learn all this, but it's so important for your body and your true health and wellness. Okay, she doesn't want to move. There we go. Now, I called this an epidemic because I work on clients around the world, and almost every single client has one form or another of Candida. It is a very real, threatening problem. Many men, women, and children that have suffered its effects and are looked upon as if they are mentally or emotionally disturbed or as hypochondriacs. So although these people have had such severe physical symptoms, they are dismissed. Now, has this ever happened to any of you with Candida and going to your doctor and being dismissed? No. If you want to talk in the chat, that's cool. Yes, it has happened to you. Okay, hon. It is really sad. It has happened to me, but we're going to talk a little more about that in a minute. And I'm not knocking doctors. I'm not knocking Western medicine. I'm just saying that there is another way to ingratiate our health, and we need to actually step up and do that. So many physicians have actually been totally reluctant about accepting Candida as a widespread cause of disease. Doctors, and I can say this because I worked with them for so many years, cannot accept that there can be so many symptoms in just one fungus, one disease. But it is mind-blowing if you go really deep into it. Dr. Kroc, who is the author of The Yeast Connection, points out that it has been established that culminating Candida produces toxins, and these toxins have dire effects on our bodily organs. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Oh, come on. Okay. So Candida albicans itself is a very serious disease if left untreated. It is now as common as premenstrual syndrome, and in fact, they both go hand in hand, and many diseases and maladies go hand in hand with Candida. Many people manifest the symptoms that are considered unimportant by doctors, so they go untreated and undiagnosed. And many have just come to accept the fact that yeast infections are a way of life, and they are not a way of life. This is just not acceptable to have this as a way of life. So the drug-induced disease, which was caused, again, by doctors overprescribing antibiotics, birth control pills, steroids, freely, and is being ignored and unimportant. If you're taking any type of medication, or if you're taking antibiotics, you need, and your body needs, because these drugs just don't kill the bad, they kill all the good. So you need to add probiotics back into your guts. So when you're on antibiotics, and again, kinesiology, muscle testing, how many we need. You don't want to take it anywhere close to the antibiotic or the medication. It needs to be 2 hours apart. When I work with clients, depending on if they can digest food and if their enzymes are working properly, and as we get older, we know that all this slows down, I have them take it at night, because we all know when we sleep, our bodies heal so miraculously. So if you apply this to your abdomen, to your gut flora, these brands that I have, hon, are actually Nature's Sunshine products. And you can go on the website and it'll take you right to there. Thank you for asking. Now, Dr. Kroc is actually taking this disease very seriously and feels that we need to gain knowledge on how to deal with Candida. That's why I'm doing this tonight. We really need to be more aware of how the energies and how our bodies work. I know that some people think some of my webinars are really boring, but I am going to teach you stuff that you probably don't even think about or know. So Dr. Kroc states that the use of antibiotics in animal feed and medication assures a constant supply of them in our food. Now, if you were raised on a farm like I was, you know that animals are shot full of steroids, full of antibiotics, sent to slaughter. We're eating that in our bodies. So we get a constant supply, and we'll talk more about this. Now, Dr. Jeffries states that when this fungus occurs, it provokes all kinds of allergic reactions. Now, the reason I put the Petri dish up here, when I was working full-time, I loved working in the lab. And this is Candida growing. And what we did is we scraped it off our skin, put the little reagent active in there, spun it down, and then we coated our Petri dishes. And within 48 hours, when we placed antibiotics, we usually place 3 or 4 in separate corners, you would not believe how much it grew in 48 hours. This stuff is dangerous to have in our life. In very rare instances, in certain patients, Dr. Jeffries talks about, it can invade the brain and the heart. And when this happens, it produces blood poisoning. How many of you have heard about people having blood poisoning? many times, right? Did you realize that that's the reason why? And that is really sad that they didn't come down and listen. So Candida overgrowth causes some really strange compounds within our body. So these compounds are actually thought to be able to produce estrogen within our body, and it signals that area, and we no longer produce estrogen. Isn't that amazing? And it also does this, if you can believe this, it also does this with our thyroid gland. And that is where we get hypothyroidism from, because the signal is not being sent out. So the results are just crazy. And once the Candida is off and running, it manufactures other agents in the intestinal tract. And it is hard to get control of. It is difficult. I'm not here to tell you it's not. It is. So Candida, if you can believe it or not, yes, Hill is asking if we muscle test to see if we have Candida, and it shows us we don't. That is correct. Yes, but I will be muscle testing us tonight and making sure everybody does or does not. Have you ever heard of the drunk disease? Many people have not. Candida can actually manufacture those agents, and it produces alcohol that cannot be oxidized by our gut. It is called the drunk disease. So I'm going to give you a little caption here of what the drunk disease is. We were in an accident 3 years ago where we had to lay our motorcycle down or get sideswiped. The ambulance was right behind us. So of course they took us off, trauma, and it's just, they drew my blood. Yes, you're right, Judy. Judy says that it doesn't always show up when we test. No, but I have a secret to that. So what is amazing about this is, of course, they're going to draw blood because you're in trauma. And I had 2 doctors and a counselor come in, and they started jumping on my throat, not rudely, but almost rudely. Why are you driving your Harley when you're drunk? If people know me personally, they know I don't drink. I was snockered. I had been telling my doctor for 4 months that every time I bend over, I get dizzy, that this is going on, this is going on, this is going on, all these counterindications. And he just, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. There's nothing I can do. It's nothing. You're just overblowing it. No, I'm not. I know my body. So one of the reasons I got the drunk disease is because I fast every night. I don't eat anything usually, not always. Don't have anything after 6 p.m. And then I don't eat again until noon the next day. And what I used to do is take all my fruits, my almond milk, my protein powders, trace minerals, all that good stuff, and I would drink that. But my body wasn't oxidizing it. So I was liquored. I was drunk. And it was very hard to prove. And then when we got the results from the hospital, because they give them to you right there when you're leaving, and I took it to my PCP and my rheumatologist, and they sashayed me away. It wasn't important to them. So it is very important to me to speak to you about Candida because it's very serious. There was a woman who got stopped. She was weaving all over the road. She got stopped, of course, and she was drunk. But She didn't drink. Same thing happened. So it can happen and we may not even know. The ethanol grows very rapid yeast, which has a good source, of course, sugar. Fruit is sugar. So ethanol itself can produce this intoxicated effect in the blood if it's high enough. And it was high. It is also, and this is what's scary, it is also a cousin to formaldehyde and able to cause dysfunction of many of the body's systems. Candida can dramatically affect our memory pattern, and the person may become spacey, forgetful, brain fog. Some people actually lose track of time. They actually lose where they are, don't know where they are, and don't have a clue how they got there. To me, that's very sad. These dramatic mood swings are suggestive of a mental disorder, and that's the box they check. They can prescribe you synthetic drugs when it is in reality Candida albicans. Does that make sense? Okay, anybody have any questions? If you do, don't hesitate. Beautiful. Beautiful. I'm glad it makes sense. It all, thank you. Okay. So tonight we're going to talk about 12 types of Candida. There are many more. That's how sad it has gotten. Now, some of these, as you can see, I won't be able to pronounce, but some I can. So excuse me for not being able to pronounce some of these words. So this beautiful yeast is a common nuisance that's a factor in most, or many, I should say most, women's life, and it thrives in an acidic environment and is often the side effects of antibiotics. Remember, these drugs, these synthetic drugs, can cause so many maladies in our body. It may also occur during pregnancy because that mama's immune system may be a little bit down because of all she's doing. Remember, I'm going to talk to you many times about immune compromise. So here we go. It can also, this type of fungus can also occur in diabetics, and it can cause their blood sugars to spike or be really low. It depends on the person and their uniqueness. This is Candida parasolicosis. This is a form of yeast that has been a significant cause of sepsis and tissue infections in, again, immune compromised people. They're beautiful. If you, like I said, I'm a big lab person. If you go in and look at these types of different Candidas that we're talking about underneath the microscope, it's absolutely beautiful. They are thriving, living, pulsating microorganisms. This is Candida tropicalis, and this is a common pathogen in neutrophilic hosts, neutrophils, in whom it may spread through the bloodstream to peripheral organs like our liver, kidneys, etc., etc. It is a very dangerous little one. Now, remember, we can have more than one in our body. Candida cusi is a budding yeast infection in chocolate production. Of course, immune compromised aren't going to be able to fight this. And it also has to do with hematological malignancy, so blood cancer. This stuff is so very dangerous, and we really need to pay more attention to our bodies and what our bodies are saying to us. Candida dublinasis is a fungal opportunist, and they have it isolated from AIDS patients. It's a very beautiful fungus, But let me tell you what, it hits skin and it grows exponentially fast. This is Candida lucitein. This stuff, if you can see my cursor, these move really fast and these pulsate inside each one of these little nucleuses are 2 or 3 more, and they break and they create rods and then they create cones. It is considered to be an emerging opportunist pathogen that is a frequent, again, immune compromised patients with comorbidity. So patients that are having bone marrow transplants, high doses of chemotherapy have been identified as the biggest risk factors for this type of Candida. So if you're going through this, and the doctors are not going to tell you to take pre and probiotics and protect your body, they're not, flat out. Torula. This one to me is fascinating. It is used in flavoring and processed foods and pet foods. It is often grown on wood liquor and a byproduct of paper production, which is rich in wood sugars. It is pasteurized. It is sprayed in a fine little brown tint. It has a yeasty odor and it has a gentle, slightly meaty taste. And I'm sure we've all had this introduced into our body and we get yeast from it. This one I thought was very beautiful. I know I'm weird. I got to have what I do. Candida viscowani. This was actually isolated, and it's a new yeast infection in the cerebral spinal fluid in a case of meningitis. And they don't stop to think to look for an underlying cause that can be making the malady in the first place. So remember, we always want to look underneath. Then we want to look underneath again. And sometimes it's not safe to remove many layers. And then you want to ask, does this imbalance have a hook? Is it hooked into something else? Does it have a cord that needs to be cut? Does it have a generator that's making it vibrate so hard? Is it absorbed from somebody? Is it shared? Is it inherited? Because these microbes can be passed down. Candida ophelia. This is a really beautiful one if you looked underneath the microscope for it too. It was originally isolated from golden delicious apples as intended for an antagonistic to control fungal pathogens. So to keep them copacetic. Gray and blue mold. So if you have apple trees or pear trees, you've seen how they go bad very quickly once they come on. So it's post-harvest decay. So when I talk to you and ask you, please, please, please wash all your vegetables and all your fruit. This is what I use. It's Nature's Fresh from Nature's Sunshine. And I have had vegetables and fruit and I soak them for 15 to 20 minutes. I've had to change the water 3 or 4 times to get all the stuff off there. Parasites, just, it's unbelievable what is on our stuff. Now, if you don't have Nature's Fresh, you can use 2 tablespoons of baking soda and it will turn the water. You'll be amazed, but it's much more healthier for us. And then make sure you rinse them off well, sit it out, let them dry before you put them away. We don't want to reactivate. Candida can reactivate. Candida stellata, frequently associated with overripe and botrytis grapes, and can survive in the fermenting until vinification. But how many of you have gotten grapes and you've let them go a little bit and they get hard, put them in the freezer, and then you can crunch them or put them in your shakes? You're introducing yourself to more Candida. Does that make sense? Okay. Candida malaria. You know, we can get Candida from just about anywhere, but this actually is found in sourdough ecosystems. So if you're eating sourdough, make sure I teach people to change the energy of their food. So if you were to change the energy of your food, you would rub your hands together vigorously. You would shake that negative energy off. You would trace over your food counterclockwise. You want to pull that stuff out. You want to shake again, and you want to bring positive. So you would go clockwise. And then I do figure eights over my food because it changes the energy of that food. And then you want to pray and give gratitude and grace for the food that you are eating. And that helps. So this is the big one. This is the one most people hear about. It is a very opportunistic pathogen yeast that is a common member of the human gut flora, our microbiome. And I will talk about the microbiome many, many times, and you'll probably get tired of hearing about it from me, but remember that Candida can live outside of the human body. Outside. Yeneth, you would, she's asking how to invite people. You would have to share the email or the link. Thank you. So it just doesn't live on your skin. It is detected in the gastrointestinal tract and in the mouth, but so much on our skin. Due to GMO foods, processed foods, enriched flours, and all the toxicities that we eat and inhale daily, this can be a big problem for many, many people. Remember, if you're muscle testing, doing kinesiology, and one of these things say that you have a food toxin here, which you'll see in a minute when we test, we go underneath of that to find out, are you sensitive? Are you actually allergic? What is causing the imbalance? There's so many things that can be underlying and hidden within. Does that make sense? Okay. And this stuff is unbelievable. I've been treating for Candida since my son was born. They did 6 surgeries within 6 months and my body shut down. And it was an overgrowth of Candida because they kept just prescribing more meds, more meds, more meds. So it does take a fight for your health and for your body to create that wellness. It does not happen overnight. Sometimes it takes months and sometimes it takes even longer, depending on how bad you have the Candida. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And remember, when we heal on this, when we work on this, our bodies heal backwards from the maladies that are actually present. And we'll talk about that more. So Candida treatment, please pay heed. Laundering alone does not kill the germ. It will actually reactivate it when moisture encounters it. So the laundry of the person with Candida needs to be done separately. But if you stop and think about it, if one person in the house has it, wouldn't you imagine that everybody in the house has it? Because you've been washing the stuff all together. Y'all living together, cohabitating, got it on your hands, you've got it on your skins, you touch the counter, you touch your face, boom, shakalaka, boom, you've got it. It's that easy, it's that quick, it moves that fast. So what we do here, and I've done research, is to wash your clothes with borax. I know it's a harsh detergent, but it kills it. And then what I add in is tea tree essential oil. Each and every person will test for a different amount to be utilized. And then the person that is actually doing the wash needs to open this up, put a couple drops on their hands, because you can pass it on. Remember, tea tree is a germicide. Tea tree has over 101 uses. It is a very good essential oil to have in your home for so many reasons: antibacterial, antifungal, antibiotic. There's just amazing things you can do. Now, you can also break your tea tree down. You can put it in a 15 ml bottle. You want to put the drops in first and then add your carrier oil to that. You don't want to shake it like this. You want to roll it in your hands, for you don't break those emollients up. You want to place it up in the cupboard when you're done with it, so it's behind darkness, because you don't want the emollients to evaporate. Okay? If you have any questions, don't hesitate. There are so many different types of Candida. I took pictures of so many things. Remember that colored dye toilet paper can trigger sensitivities on the skin. So you only want to use white toilet paper. Tampons should not be utilized, because if you have Candida, it actually causes and introduces Candida up higher in the vaginal canal. Your uterus has it, your fallopian tubes have it, and it just spreads like wildfire. Candida can be transferred sexually, and of course, and often men are the carriers because they don't have the symptoms that women do. Does that make sense? Okay. The best deodorant is a stone. Have y'all ever utilized a stone for deodorant? They work marvelously. You wet it down, you rub it on, and then you rinse it back off. You want to keep it dry. It does burn a little bit if you're open, if your pores are open. It did not work on you, Yana. Okay. Not everybody's the same. Remember, we are very unique and beautiful. Muscle test for what is good for your body and what is not good for your body. Now, there's soaps recommended for bathing, excuse me. They are glycerin bars, almond oat bars, and aloe vera. And I like mine with bergamot in it, because it helps the skin. Remember, our skin is a big part of everything. Now, I know, yes, it is a Himalayan salt bar. Yes, it is, Mary. Thank you. I'm sorry I didn't say that. I apologize. Now, I know people are probably tired of me talking about dry skin brushing. You're welcome, sweetheart. A bath or shower should be preceded with 5 minutes at least of dry skin brushing. Okay, it's soft on the back, coarse on the skin. Start at your feet, bring it up, take it off. Remember that our cells rejuvenate, and if we're not taking off those old ones and sloughing them, how can those beautiful new ones come up and be plump and gorgeous? They cannot. So we need to slough them. And I mean, I make my skin rosy, so it brings even more to your skin. It brings circulation up, and we need that in our body. Now, I know people are being told to take vitamin C, but remember, vitamin C can be acidic, not all brands. So what it is tested, what Dr. Jeffrey states, is to use rose hip capsules because they provide vitamin C that is alkaline within our body. Does that make sense? Okay, beautiful. Now, as I talked, the tea tree oil, pre and probiotics, party arco. Get some of my stuff out of the way here. Party arco has been around for centuries. It's called Tahibo, and they're just little capsules. And you need to muscle test how many you need and how many times a day. You can also utilize, if you've got skin candida, Party Arco lotion. Now, when my candida, and I can tell the minute it's out of control, I actually make tea, and it looks like just leaves. It doesn't taste very good. So you want to put some honey from your area because it gives you the right nutrients that you need from your area, because we need to be a little more careful about our energy. Now, when I had that drunk disease, I did all this, but I had to introduce Candida kill on top of everything else to get this under control. This is Nutritional Frontiers. So, oh, absolutely. This is called Party Arco, and it's a lotion. I can, well, it's spelled in here for you. Were you able to get a picture, I hope? So
yes, I got it.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, Candida actually has food restrictions. If it's in stage 1, if it's severe, you do not want to eat any fruit, red or sweet potatoes. If it is severe, these things will feed it, and then it's even bigger gangbusters. Stage 2 is moderate, 1 fruit a day, 2 hours completely away from any meal, on an empty stomach, and a serving of red potatoes. Why do I say that? Let's just take what's coming up, Thanksgiving, right? We go in and we have all that delicious food. And then what do? Oh man, Pappy's got that apple strudel, that apple pie, that pumpkin pie, and we add it on top. What do you think digests first? That fruit.
Fruit.
Yes, that fruit, and it digests quickly. Okay, so this will create that still within your stomach. So in stage 3, you want 1 to 3 fruits a day, and you can have red or sweet potatoes. But again, muscle test. What do you need for your body? It's all a little bit different for all of us because we are so beautifully unique. So this is one last item that I wanted to add. There's a little more, but have you all ever heard of your biofilm? Has
Yes.
everybody heard of that? Okay. The biofilm itself is an arrangement of bacterial cells that attach to the surface through secretions, which actually protect the cells within. These are these little cells. This density and arrangement actually protects the cell within the colony because they're all colonized or aggregated, so they work in harmony. And the surfaces they attach to actually supply nutrients that is needed for growth and cell function. Bacterial biofilms also impact the risk of infections and the progression of chronic wounds because it actually allows them to heal a little bit better. But again, you know how our body and our spirit are to be one. And if we have a trauma or something happens, it tears, right? It literally tears. Our biofilm can actually tear. And when this biofilm tears, it allows all the bacteria and the Candida to go wild because it's not protecting. Biofilm covers everything in our body, even our teeth. So it's very important that we are checking this and making sure this is happy also. And here we go back to the microbiome, and we're going to do this a couple times. The microbiome itself, and y'all know the microbiome is your gut, right? Okay. So it is a collection of microbes such as bacteria, fungi, viruses, and their genes, because it can be passed down. They naturally live on our bodies and inside of us. Although microbes are so minute and you can only see a microscope, under a microscope, they contribute such a huge way and impacts our human health and wellness. Microbes refers to over 1,000 bacterial species within our body that are live. These bacteria help with digestion. It destroys harmful bacteria. It helps control your immune system. So if your immune system is compromised by a malady that started in your gut or started by Candida, we can reverse this. Don't ever think that miracles don't happen, because they do every day. When you eat, when you have this going on in your system, only a very, very minute amount is actually absorbed through our cell walls. When the microbiome is compromised, disease can then come in. And I'm sure we've all experienced this from one time or another. The microbiome itself, again, consists of those microbes that are helpful and potentially harmful as well. Most are symbiotic, where both the human and the microbiota actually benefit. And some, in smaller numbers, are pathogenic, which promotes diseases. In a healthy body, the pathogen and the symbiotic microbiota coexist together in harmony, and there are no problems. But remember, again, probiotics are live, but when they are administered in adequate amount, it can be a health benefit. So again, if you're having trouble digesting your food, if you don't take enzymes, muscle test, use kinesiology, and see if you need it before you eat, so it can be active in your body. And I'm going to show you a few little techniques. But also before bed. Now, a lot of people don't realize that, but your body heals at night. So why not give it what it needs to actually do that healing? The microbiome promoting fibers. We've all got fibers in our body, right? And we need more to help us stay well. Whole grains, oatmeal and beans. But remember, the whole grains now are also being genetically modified. Change the energy or do without. If you're cooking rice, no minute rice, none of that business. Only use long graze rice. Let it soak for 24 hours. Keep rinsing it. That way it opens up and your body is able to digest it a little bit easier. So phenols, I'm sure everybody has heard of phenols, and these are the colors of the rainbow to fruits and vegetables. So blueberries, red peppers, purple cabbage, fermented food, brine pickles, sauerkraut, kimchi, yogurt. The only thing about yogurt, and I didn't know this till a few months ago because I'm a big yogurt eater. if you have yogurt first thing in the morning, it will cause inflammation in your gut all day. Did not know that. And I used to eat copious amounts. So do not have yogurt until nighttime for your body can assimilate it. And I know that sounds a little crazy, but get the ones that have the added probiotics and bifidobacillus. So there are supplements containing prebiotic fibers, and there are so many healthy foods that contain these. As I've got down here, garlic, onions, leek, asparagus, Jerusalem artichoke, dandelion greens are wonderful for your body. Bananas and seaweed. Seaweed doesn't taste very good, but let me tell you what, it is very beneficial to your body. So is liquid chlorophyll or chlorophyll capsules. So when I was doing more research, even though I've been doing this for so long, it says you can reset your gut in 3 days. Not so much. You can start resetting your gut in 3 days by doing intermittent fasting, drink lots of water, and I mean 8 to 10 glasses. You gotta push that fluid out. Go sugar-free, except don't pull it all at once because you're going to crave it. Remember, sugar feeds that and you're going to crave it. That's why. So if you keep denying yourself, I don't eat this kind of stuff, but once in a while, do you ever just get a hungry for like a candy bar or a soda pop? They're not good, but feed that urge. Don't deny yourself. Just don't do it all the time. Make a habit of being healthy in your life and in your choices. There's so many things that we can do for our health. Now, one thing I do before, I do this twice a year. I use Clean Start, and this is a pre-packaged by Nature Sunshine to actually start the colon moving and getting all the sludge out. Has anybody ever done a cleanse like that before? Besides just intermittent fasting, you know, we can do intermittent fasting. We can do a water fast through the weekend. We can do a vegetable fast. We can do so many beautiful things for our body. You don't want to, yes, sauerkraut, yes, and be careful eating it. Absolutely, Mary. We have to be careful with our bodies, and it's so important to muscle test per se. Does everybody know how to do the sway test? If you don't, let me just tell you, your solar plexus is where you want to hold food. People think I'm probably crazy in the grocery store. I really, really don't really care. So what I do, I'm just going to stand up and show you. This is bacillus, so probiotics. So our solar plexus and our sacral, right? So what you would do, would you hold it here? You want to make sure your mind is clear. And you just breathe. Let your body relax and ask, is this supplement for my highest good? And I already know because I take this and it sways forward. You sway backwards if it's a no. And you could do this with your food, your drinks, everything. Everything. It is so easy. Or you can learn how to muscle response test or use your pendulum. There are many ways in which to muscle test. If you have questions, please don't hesitate. Okay, we'll talk about the AO scanner. But first, let's go in. Do I have everybody's permission to remove and check and see that Candida is present? Is that cool with everybody?
Cynthia, do I need to put my camera on? I'm just kind of laying in bed. I didn't know if I need to sit up.
You're fine. You can if you like to, please.
Okay, 1
I
second.
love
Thank you.
to see your face, Mary. So what I'm going to do, if everybody is cool with it, I go into the whole group as one. So I want you to all take a deep breath and allow that energy to flow out. Let your shoulders roll. Actually, it's telling me everybody needs to take a drink. If you do not have one, please do so. Okay, it's just, I'm going to connect. Beautiful. Yes. Okay. So just for everybody knows, everybody has a little bit of Candida. Some of you have several, some of you have just a couple forms. Okay, so the first thing that comes up are sweeteners. Now, we can have processing agents, we can have flavor enhancers, but sweeteners really feed Candida. So there's artificial sweeteners, there's sugars, there's sugar alcohols, and there's natural sweeteners. And all of these can be toxic within our body. So this is a sugar alcohol. This is maltitol. So we're going to ask, what is the underlying reason that this maltitol is within your body? It's going back to a toxin, food coloring. We may not realize that food coloring is in so much of our food. If we would see food before it was injected, we literally would not eat it. So this is from beverages. So that means soda and other things. Candies, it's from ice cream, bakery products, sauces, processed foods. All righty, we got them all. Woohoo! Okay, let's see why. Some of you have had this imbalance since birth. Some of you have inherited it. And there's actually an energy, and it's a broadcast message. Now, a broadcast message is something that's written across our chest, written across our forehead, on a megaphone, and everybody else can see it, but you cannot. And it's saying, hate me. And this is actually a wounded child. So let me go into that. My needs are a burden to others, and there's actually an emotional charge of heartache. So I am going to release this energy. Everybody take a breath. And when you breathe it out, this way, when I have you make different sounds, it affects different areas within your brain. And that's where it needs to release from. So do it 3 times for me, please. That released. And there's actually a physical emotional shock. And this is from trauma. Sorry, I'm not like other people and have to have everything on my computer since I don't see very well out of my eyes. I have to do it on here. Hatred, pure and utter hatred. And this is actually corded to resentments. We are going to release this. Everybody take a breath. Blow it out hard. 3 times, please. And then we're going to replace. Now, we can, when I replace, you can tap it in here into your third eye, or you can tap it around your right ear where the meridians are. Please do so, so the energy goes in there. We want to remove the hatred and the resentment, and we want to put in unconditional love, peace, and harmony. And we also want to put in an affirmation that my smile lights up the world and I am honored to wear it. Everybody okay? Okay. Yeah, Mary, isn't it amazing? It is. Okay, the next imbalance with the Candida is another food toxin. Now remember, we have preservatives, excuse what I'm going to say, out the wazoo that is put in our food. Change the energy. Don't use the microwave. Make real food. So GMO foods, there are many of them. There's corn, soybeans, canola oil, sugar beets, alfalfa, yellow squash, zucchini. And there's a certain papaya that is genetically modified. And we know that they're modifying even more food. So is there an underlying cause of why this GMO is within my body? And you're not going to believe it. Dehydration. Because when we don't drink enough and we don't move our bodies enough, the toxins are going to sit there and stir and not release. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's just remove it. You are able to actually absorb, but you are not absorbing. Everybody take a breath. Anything electrical can emit different frequencies. Your TV, in front of this computer. So when you get off of here, make sure you drink a full glass of water because this is emitting too, and it dehydrates us. Being on, this absolutely drives me crazy, but people complain about EMF toxicity, but they don't realize they've got their heads down on their phones all the time. My husband and I went out to eat, which we rarely do, and it was so quiet in the restaurant. And I started looking around because the energy wasn't good. I could see people's energy and it was just dark. And I thought, what in God's name? They were all on their flipping phones instead of conversing with one another. Let's put down our phones. Let's start conversation back. Let's start building a community where we love and honor one another. That's what it's all about. Sorry, I'll stop my spiel. Okay, another food toxin. Enriched flours. There is an underlying, yep. Now, you may not believe this, but parasites can be present in enriched flours. And once you get a parasite in your body and you don't realize it, remember that you will get lactic acid buildup. It will be painful. There's so many imbalances that goes along with this. You can have digestive upset. You could have muscle aches, fatigue, weakness, anxiety. You can have a rash. There is just so much involved with it. So this is in stage 2, which means they are starting to die off. But when you're working with parasites, remember that the adult larvae die first. Then their eggs hatch and there's more larvae, and their eggs hatch and there's more larvae. So you can use Artemisia, you can use Parasite Cleanse, or you can use black walnut. There's other things that you can utilize for your health, but these are just 3 things that you can use to get rid of parasites. There's a lot to that, another subject. But we're going to remove that energy. There's actually 2 people with parasites. And something else is fooling them. Another broadcast message. I need to be rescued. So let's take this out of there. Everybody take in a breath and just very slowly let it float off of you. Let it go down into Mother Earth and let her bring back to you the light that needs to come up through your feet, through your yin, and allow your yang to mix in there. It says we don't need to replace it at this time. Is there another underlying imbalance that is causing Candida? Yes. Lord have mercy. It is actually a saboteur weapon. It is an actual wound. Let me just, everybody take a breath. Take a drink for me. Sorry, I hear voices. Not crazy ones, just angels and saints. God. Now, we all know about micro and macroplastics, do we not? Do we realize the damage that micro and macroplastics can actually do to your body? You have to stop and think. We get water bottles. Everything is in plastic now. Hardly anything is in glass anymore. Everything is wrapped in plastic. That stuff gets hot and cold, leaches into that, and then we absorb that. Does that make sense? Okay. So what we can keep doing is to keep removing this daily. So I don't know why the saboteur came up as plastics. That's just really odd. But it is released. So everybody take a breath, please. And yes, when we constantly drink bottled water, this can happen. You've got to think about leaching. There's another toxin that's causing this. Yeah, I figured. We have agricultural toxins, and they are overspraying everything. I understand that we are in trouble with our food supply, but spraying the food with pesticide, fungicides, herbicides, it's not healthy for us because we're ingesting that. So how do we get rid of that? Let's see why this agriculture is staying stuck, and it's in every single one of us. A no will to receive abundance from Mother Earth. And there is a big charge underneath that. Resentment. And this is actually corded to helplessness. So we're going to bring that out. Take a breath through your teeth again. And we're going to replace it with unconditional love. And we're going to replace it with the ability to see the image in front of you that is perceived and allow you to come to full fruition. Now, one thing we can do if we need to see deeper is our third eye. I know this isn't a class for this, but you can always use your middle finger, shake it, and bring it up, right up to right here. This is the heart, where it comes down to here. This is the point. If the heart is in stress, there's many points on our body, and you can open this up, and it's not going to let me do anything else. Okay. Let me show you, and hopefully you will understand about our meridian pathways. We have several that can help us with our guts and with processing our food. So there are several, so I hope we're good at this. Okay. The first one, and I'm just going to stand up because it's easier. And if you want to do it with me, please do, because that way you can literally feel the energy, and that's what it's all about. So when you start your meridians, I do my meridians every day. I do my daily energy minutes, and I also do my neurovascular points to keep my body pumping. So when you do your meridians, you want to, again, rub those hands together, get that energy going, flake that off. Now, our stomach meridian actually starts in our eyeballs, in the bottom of our eyeballs. If y'all touch on your orbits right here, do y'all feel that notch? There's a notch. Comes straight down to right underneath here. And this is another point. I'm getting ahead of myself. So what I want you to do, now we can run them backwards if it says we need to run them backwards. Otherwise, we run them forward, and we have to again test. So the stomach meridian starts here at this point, goes down to your jowls, comes up and comes straight down to your nipples. It comes out to the side and it goes off your legs. Now, if you can't stand up, that's cool. You can do it in your chair. We have imagination. We have intention. And that's what brings it forth. Now, the next one is the small intestine meridian. First thing I want to show you is we can take our lovely little fingers, curve them like this, and right underneath where the bottom of your ribs are, go in there and work that energy. Now, some of it may be really freaking sore. Just keep doing it, okay? Now, the small intestine meridian looks a little weird, but how you do it, and I can actually sit down and do this one. So you want to go from your finger, okay, from your index. You want to go up on the inside. You want to go back, go one to right here. You want to come up and then back to touch this, your bone, come up to your mouth, to your ear, and shake it off. And you want to do it to the other side. Back a little bit, all the way down to that, your shoulder bone, come back to your mouth, to your ear, and shake it off. You can do that 3 times. It helps bring energy in. Now, the triple warmer, it's a little different too. All the meridians are very beautifully unique. We have several points on each meridian that we can work on. But when we do our meridians in the morning, it allows our body to be running up and down parallel, and it connects. So our triple warmer, again, the index finger, because remember, right here's that point. So this index finger, you come up, whoops, if I stood up, you come up from here and you go back over the back side of your wrist. You come up and you hook it right in your ear. So you go across and then hook it right up to the ear. The next thing is our gallbladder. Remember, our gallbladder emulsifies food and breaks it down, fats. And it's a funky one to do. So you want to start here, come across, breathe in, and then it's really funky looking because you come down to the tip of your nose, you go back to the back behind your ears, come down again, and then when you come down the back, you literally go to here where the bottom of your ribs are, come across the abdomen, because remember the gallbladder is right underneath that liver, right? And then off your hips, down into Mother Earth. The large intestine would be the next ones that we would do for digestion. And it is really easy. You just come again, always your index finger, not on all meridians, but on these ones. You come from your finger and you come up to your shoulder, your neck, come around your ear, and you stop at your temple. Now, I know it looks funny, but once you get used to running your energies and working with your energy, you will notice a significant difference. Now, with the large intestine. Let me see what I did with my little ball. We can also, because there's so many things that we can do for our body for digestion. So everybody thinks I'm really weird when I do this one, but that's okay. We all know I am. Mastication, digestion starts right here in your mouth, right? So if we are to come back from the middle of our neck and actually pull the energy over and go off our arm and go off our arm, and then you come down here right underneath your breast tissue. This is your spleen meridian, your liver, your gallbladder, several other things are off of there. And you come across, and it hurts sometimes, and push it down your leg. You want to do it on both sides. And then remember, this is your upper, right? The colon, actually, the ascending, the transverse, and the descending. So you want to come down to the bottom and push it down for the simple fact that you can digest the food. And you can also take a little ball and you can start down here at your lower on the right side where the small intestine comes out of that Houston valve and roll it all the way across and all the way down. Okay, that helps your digestion system. And if we can do that, it's amazing. Now, the next thing, another technique, there's so many techniques. I've got thousands of these, but are the thumps. So again, stomach meridian. We're in here tapping on it. It grounds us. It also helps us digest. Then we come down, your collarbone is here. You want to come straight down, and there'll be a little indentation and it's going to be sore. This is the 27th point on your kidney meridian, and you tap. Now, some people tap really soft. I tap hard and actually bruise myself at times. Now, on each one of these meridian points, remember, you can do a figure 8 to change the energy. Then you want to come down to your thymus gland. Your thymus is so important. You know how apes pound on their chest like this? That thymus gland puts out T cells that eats bacteria. Very important. And then last one we do is we come from our nipples, come out to the sides, and these are our spleen points. And to metabolize food, we need to hit those spleen points. It also metabolizes life. And then the last but not least is you do the hookup. So you put your middle finger into your belly button and one on your third eye. You push in and you pull up. And this actually allows your energy to connect from upwards to downwards, because at times it is disconnected. I know I went over this fast. This will be on YouTube. So one of the things that is in balance when we have gut problems is the sacral and the solar plexus. One of the things you can do, and I do a lot of things, is a tiger's eye crystal. It is so very beautiful. You can wear it in your left pocket. Make sure you sage it, place it in the moon, and dedicate it with your left hand, your right hand, and put it in your left pocket. Or you can wear it as jewelry. It protects, and it's so strong. It has just so many beautiful factions. Can I show it? Yes. It's over here on my table. I'm sorry. I didn't even think about that of all the things. So this is, I'm sorry, this is a tiger's eye. Now there's 3 different types of tiger's eye. Muscle test, which one works best for you? You're absolutely my pleasure. The next thing that we can do for our sacral and solar plexus, I know y'all know I do essential oils. Sandalwood is beautiful for these areas. And you can, again, break it down, or you can put it on neat. You want orange foods like oranges and sweet potatoes and carrots. The solar plexus, you want to use rosemary or lemon essential oils, and there are others. And yellow foods, so bananas, corn, and lemons. If you're going to use lemon in your water, only utilize it every other day. It will eat the enamel right off your teeth. Now, we all know that we have two voices in our head, that positive one and that negative one. So when that negative one goes off and tells you to do things, you go back, you feel it, you let it go, see ya, you bring in 3 positive ones. But I want for you today, if you would tap around your ear with me, I want to put in 2 affirmations. It is so important that when we remove negative, we put positive back in its place. So I step in to my divine power. We are worthy. I love and honor my sacral body. Now, if you don't want to tap it in around your right ear, tap it in your third eye. Bring in those positives and feed your body the energy. Yes, it does matter. Your right ear. It needs to be your right ear. Thank you for asking. I'm sorry. Now, the AO scanner. I know I threw a lot at you. It is simply a phenomenal device. It is not a diagnostic tool. It is a knowledge tool. The vital scan itself, you can actually run gastrointestinal, food toxins, bloods, meridians, nutritional and toxicities. And then if they're 1, 2, and 3, or 7, 8, and 9, we can work on those and remove those imbalances and send your body frequencies that actually aids it to heal. Because we can, through frequencies, heal. Dr. Rife proved this back in the 1940s. Tesla and Einstein have also proved that frequencies will be the age of the future. There will be no doctors. So the body scan will actually run the digestive systems and the hormones. So why am I mentioning hormones? Hormones play such a big factor in all of our life. There's another technique for hormones. You can shake it, go like this, and do this, to where your hand, this part of your hand is on your forehead, your hairline, over your crown, back here at your occipital lobe, and up. And when you're holding these points, you want to take deep breaths. You don't just want to shallow breathe. You want the energy to move and exchange. Now, that quick scan, the comprehensive goes much deeper. A quick scan, yes, not a radionics, but it's a little bit different. Yes. So the quick scan, you can do it in the morning, midday, and at night, and it actually saves you money, because you can, whatever you are utilizing as far as supplements, prayers, affirmations, there's just so many things, essential oils, and they already have some. You can implement them into the machine, and then when you say your little 10-sec quick and it reads your energy, it will give back what you need that day. It actually saves me a little money. One of the things I actually really like that they have is called a 660 band. And if anybody knows my story of what's been going on here lately, and it increases circulation. I had a little mishap with my blood pressure, and they prescribed me the wrong medicine. Once again, the doctors weren't listening, and my eyes bled. So did my body. So I had to go, because I couldn't see. They put injections in both my eyes. They ended up blinding this eye. I still don't have it completely back. So please, this is how I'm getting it back. I'm using my 660 band and Valor back here to be able to open this space up. So another thing I like to do with the AO scanner, can y'all see these? These are called Cepheid dots. And you can make a custom playlist and you can imprint these and put them on your meridian points for 3 days, and the energy will change for you. So is your health and wellness worth $149 a month? Yes. I kind of thought not when I first got this machine, but the difference it has made in our lives has been exponential. So I just want to always throw that out. No matter what I do, I will talk about this beautiful machine. If you've never had an inner voice or had a scan run, please hit me up and we can do that for you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate. Thank you for attending. I know I threw a lot at you. We really need to rock our healthcare. We need to own it. We need to learn our body. We need to learn how our energies work. We need to learn how our meridians work. We need to learn that there's 7 layers in the chakras and they need to spin right. There's just so much that we can do for our bodies. I do 16 different modalities and certified in almost all of them. And it is simply amazing the enrichment that you bring to people's lives. So let's rock your lives. When we learn these beautiful modalities and the knowledge, we pass this on to our loved ones and our friends, which causes an absolutely beautiful ripple effect across the world and for generations to come. And is that not what it's all about? I'm very honored to serve you on your journey to wellness, to keep yourself in alignment, to own your future, to make you healthy and be prosperous within your own self. Please just DM me if you would, please, because by the time I'm done tonight and the other things I still got to do, if you would just message me on Messenger who would like an AO scan. And now if we could please, when I finish with webinars, I always ask us to bow our heads, because we are not in this world without the grace of the divine, and he is the one that gives us the techniques and the beauty to move forth. So if you would please just bow your head for me. Heavenly Father, we are so grateful and thank you for bringing each soul with us here tonight. We are so honored to learn the knowledge that you have for us and to make well our bodies, which you intended in the beginning. I ask and I pray that every soul here today is blessed beyond belief, and the abundance of life and happiness and health flows into each one of you. In your holy name, amen. Does anybody have any questions? I know I've thrown a lot at you. Okay, thank you so very much. Namaste.